Hello everyone and welcome to another review. Today we're going to go ahead and review a fragrance from the house of Jardins d'Écrivain. It's a new house that was just created, I believe in 2012 or 2013. I'm actually going to list below another channel that I really want you to check out. It's by Wilde. I'm going to list his video. He actually does an overview of the entire house. So he kind of gives it a once over. He goes over a bunch of the fragrances in the line, and I think it's really helpful, especially if you're interested in this line or just want to know more about it. I find it terribly interesting. I actually think this is a very underrated house. And so with that, we're actually going to go into the fragrance review that I have planned for today, and that is Wilde from the house of Jardins d'Écrivain. Here is the fragrance. So it's supposed to be modeled, I believe, after the writer Oscar Wilde, and it kind of goes that route. This is the 3.4. I've only seen it available in one size, the 3.4. It's 100 milliliters, and it sells for around $110 even, plus, you know, tax and all those good things. So it's on the less expensive side for a niche fragrance. So you might want to keep that in mind, you know, kind of going forward with this one. So it's a very simple bottle presentation. Just got the glass bottle. It says Wilde on it. You can actually, you know, see the sticker in the back. Cap pops off. Cap is it doesn't still come across as cheap, but it's very simple, simplistic type of a presentation for it, and I do appreciate that for at least that. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the notes of what this fragrance consists of. The notes consist of, at our top, we have bergamot and grapes. For our mid, we have fig, carnation, and tea. And for our base, we have oak moss and vetiver. This scent, so right off the bat, I should say the most prominent note with this scent is fig. Fig is the most prominent note. If you have been following me for any sort of time, you might understand or remember that it's fig that I don't really like. So going in, I actually wasn't really a fan of the scent, especially at first spray. You spray it on and you get a good amount of fig in it. Now, it's not a heavy fig. It's actually a very light fig and a very transparent fig. Once that kind of settles in, it still never goes away. The carnation, you do smell carnation, a good deal of carnation. Now, this fragrance is actually marketed for men, and it still is a masculine carnation, if you will. It does not smell feminine at all, so all the guys out there, don't worry about this being a feminine smelling scent, because it's not. It really is. It really is more of a relaxing, more of a soothing type of a scent. And this one actually grew on me. I mentioned when I first sprayed it, it had too much fig for me. But as I'm going on reviewing it, I'm like, oh, this is really not too much fig. I'm a little bit biased. Let me go ahead and give this another shot. So as I'm doing my reviews and as I'm preparing for it, I smell it a little bit more and I realize, oh, you know what? I like this scent. I actually really do like this scent. It's even though it's a fig scent, the fig is very transparent. It's very light. It still invites you in. All of the notes that you see that I read off that are listed there, the bergamot, you can smell that in it. The grape, you can smell that in it. Fig, carnation, tea, oak moss, and vetiver. You can get a little bit of all that in it if you search for it and look for it a little bit carefully, which is why, depending on your nose, will really determine what you get more out of this fragrance. You can definitely, in my opinion, smell all of the notes that are actually associated in it. Some are a little bit more strong than others, and I really believe that the fig is taking front and center attention. And because of it, it has a nice little laid back type of a scent, as a scent that you can really, you know, put on and kind of relax and cool off, if you will. It's very refreshing in that manner. And so for that reason, I actually think it's a very perfect summer scent that you can actually go ahead and wear. You can wear it in the spring, but I really think that it's geared for the warmer weather, and it really shines a little bit better in the warmer weather, which is why I'm actually going to be keeping it around. I had initial plans to actually go ahead and sell it, but I decided, you know what, I actually think that this will be a nice little change or a little bit of versatility into my summer collection, and so I want to keep on going with it. I generally go about 3 sprays on this fragrance. I go 1 on each hand, or sorry, 1 on each wrist, or the shoulder, or the elbow. Yeah, the elbow pits. 1 on each of the elbow pits, and then I'll usually go like 1 to the chest, and then it'll be fine. Sometimes I'll go like 1 to the head, and then 1 to the back, or 1 to the hair. Sorry, yeah. Or I'll do one of those. I mentioned earlier, this is a good summer fragrance. I think it's best in the summer. Age group wise, I do think it does have a little bit more of a mature vibe, so I would suggest it for anyone 25 and up. But again, that's all just suggestion. If you're younger and you feel like getting it, go ahead. Don't let me stop you. Don't let anyone stop you. If you can pull it off, by all means, go ahead. And for performance, this one has great sillage. It leaves a nice little central behind you and has great projection, which is another strong point for this fragrance, considering that I am dubbing this one a warm weather fragrance. Warm weather fragrances tend to suffer a little bit on the projection side, on the performance side, but this one does not. It lasts about 8+ hours. I say 8+ because a couple things have come up when I've been doing testing, so I haven't really been able to really fully enjoy the fragrance in each of the 7 times that I tried it, believe it or not. But I do know that it lasts at least 8+ hours on my skin, right? So what did other people think of this? With all my fragrances, I take them to Times Square, I have people smell them, and give me what their opinion is. So I have 100 people smell it. Of the 100 people that smelled it, 83 people liked it. They said that it was fresh, uplifting, and refreshing. Those were the top 3 ones. 10 people disliked it. They said that it was too perfumey, that it was too strong. And there were 7 people who thought that it was neutral. So it's kind of along those lines. Now, if I'm to go ahead and give this fragrance a rating, I give the fragrance a rating of an 8 out of 10. I give it an 8 out of 10, and I want to compare it to some other fragrances. Some other fragrances like Philosophicos and Hypnos by Lancôme are fig fragrances, and I can't stand them. I really can't stand them just because the fig, to me, it's sickening in both of those fragrances, and it comes off a little bit. It just makes me nauseous. It's just me. This one, on the other hand, it's very transparent, it's very aromatic, it's very light, and it's light, but at the same time retaining a sort of heaviness that gives it the performance that it actually needs. So I may be undervaluing this by giving it an 8 out of 10. I suspect as time goes on, I may like this more and more and more. You could probably see it pop up on my top 10 list, but with time, you never know. Time tells, right? But I am saying that this is definitely a good fragrance to get if you are looking for a summer fragrance that is a little bit different than your typical, aquatics, your typical lemons, your typical straight citrus type fragrances. You would definitely be served well to look into this direction. It's a new house, again, released in 2013, and it's worth definitely getting a sniff on it, getting a hand on it, and seeing what it's all about, okay? So if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free, send me a text, leave me a message, whatever you gotta do. Thank you, take care of yourselves, and you all have a great day.